Hello everyone. Third year MBBS, the most important year when you actually start going into clinical practices and you start to learn how the clinics work. So basically, right from ENT Opthal to learning PSM, you come to know a lot of things about clinical world. I'm Dr. Akshat Juneja. I welcome you all in today's session, which is a must for every third year MBBS student. This session will cover everything that you need to know regarding NExT, regarding Prepladder's dream team, which is NExT Ready, the next edition dream team, as well as a fun rapid fire at the end and a quick surprise for all of you. So let's begin with today's session, in which we will cover all these things in detail. And I know that you all are really excited to know who are there in the Prepladder's dream team, the next edition. So I think let's begin with introducing you with our faculties. But before that, I would suggest you, all of you, to chat to comment below in the chat, who do you think the faculties are. So let's start with the first thing, which is how do we see, right? Let's start with ophthalmology. So any guesses for ophthalmology? I'm sure you guys can take a look at the thumbnail and derive some guesses out of it. So just a couple of minutes and then we will start. So yes, for ophthalmology, we have with us none other than Dr. Ruchi Rai ma'am. She is one of the best ophthalmology faculties in the country. She is a senior ophthalmologist and her aim of making opthal easy for everyone is widely appreciated. She is also the author of Review of Ophthalmology and her achievement speaks volume about her. Good evening, ma'am. We welcome you in today's video.
Hello to all my dear students. So many of you must be knowing me.
Good evening, ma'am. We are so happy to have
join you all.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. There were some network issues.
No problem, ma'am. No problem. So, ma'am, we welcome you in today's video, and we are really excited, for the ophthalmology and same. Ma'am, in ophthalmology, students really like the subject, but then again, there are some topics like squint and neuro-ophthal, which makes ophthal a bit difficult for some students. So, how do you simplify this approach in your teaching?
Okay, so first of all, I would again a very big hello to all my dear students, and I'm absolutely very, very excited to meet you all on this wonderful platform that is Prepladder, and looking forward for the second innings of my career on this wonderful platform. Now, talking about Dr. Akshat, you're talking about neuro-ophthalmology and squint as the horror shows. It is absolutely not the case, and many of the students know this, that how the simplified diagrams and Qs and double Qs can make the journey very easy. And what I think my perspective says that because these are not even factual chapters, they're so conceptual, it's more easier to answer these questions. And very soon they are all going to get all the they have for this.
Definitely, ma'am. Definitely. Thank you so much. Basically, yes, guys. So I think you all are very excited and, ready to learn ophthalmology from ma'am as well. So now let's talk about the second subject, that is ENT. So I think, again, you would like to, have some guesses. You can surely comment in the chat below. For ENT, we have with us Dr. Vyshnavi Bommakanti ma'am. And ma'am is a full-time ENT surgeon by profession. She is also an educator by passion and a researcher by heart. You would be, astonished to know that she has already published more than 25 articles based on snoring and sleep apnea in her research work as well. We welcome you, ma'am, on today's video, and we are really, obliged to have with you us here. And I think students can surely learn a lot from you.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here on this platform, on the legendary platform of Prepladder, amongst the legends and the faculties over here. So it's more than a happy thing for me to be on this platform.
Thank you so much, ma'am. We are really happy to have with you here. Ma'am, now ENT is a very rewarding subject because once a student studies and, visits a clinic, they feel very rewarded that what they have learned, they have seen this. So how do you, in your teaching methodology, integrate clinical learning and its approach for students?
So basically, ENT is a very concept-driven subject, and you require your concepts to be right. For every disease, there is a root cause, why certain things are happening, why you see certain signs. So it's not like you just see and it is a fact. It is not that way. For every disease, for every appearance, for every sign that you see, there is a reasoning behind. And this is exactly what I will be doing in my class, is to reason out, to help the students understand conceptually, and with the help of animations with 3D illustrations, they will be able to imagine at least the structures, because ear, nose and throat are a little bit of a difficult in understanding the anatomy, because you cannot see them, and to get an understanding of it becomes a little difficult. But when you see these animations and illustrations, and then when I'm explaining what is happening, it becomes easier for student to comprehend the subject and to understand what's happening when and what. So when there are clinical questions, for them to reproduce becomes more easier with such sort of a teaching. And this is what I'm getting onto the platform when I'm recording for Prepladder. So this is the approach that I'm taking towards the subject.
Thank you so much, ma'am. We are really excited for all the, clinical animations as well as the clinical insights as well. So now, dear students, time for the, giant subject PSM. I hope you all are doing, something which is very refreshing for you as well. So PSM, we have with us none other than Dr. Neha Taneja, ma'am. Ma'am is the recipient of Edward Kennedy Memorial Award for outstanding research work in cancer epidemiology. She is an esteemed faculty for PSM with over 7+ years of experience. And her mnemonics is something which I think every one of you must be well aware of. I need not to give any introduction. Welcome you, ma'am, to the platform, and we are really obliged to have you with us here.
Thank you so much. I feel extremely blessed and, extremely blessed to be part of this renowned platform that I'm a part of now. And thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you, ma'am. So, ma'am, PSM is, perceived by students with a subject with lots of information, lots of, tables and important data as well. So, with your mnemonics and your approach, you have simplified it so much. So, how do you approach that particular learning method?
You're absolutely right. PSM is put forward by students, as a very volatile subject, and it often becomes challenging for the students to go through this subject. So I am here to make this subject a smooth ride for all of you, not just a ride, in fact, a very scoring subject. I hope it definitely becomes for all of you. And, when I am going to present to you my videos, you'll be seeing that they'll be dealt in more conceptual manner. Like when we talk about the trio of PSM, which is epidemiology, biostats, and screening, we'll be approaching these topics with more of MCQs, with more of conceptual understanding, and something which is huge is the National Health Program. So I'll be presenting with you a very easy strategy to deal with this. So basically, this subject should now become a cakewalk for you. More of images, more of questions, more of mnemonics, and of course, more of tricks and tips to deal with the highly volatile topics and the must-know topics. So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, ma'am. I think learners are very excited to, make some PSM simplified for all. So I think, guys, you all must be really excited now that, now you know the faculties. You would be really looking forward to the video lectures and everything. So before we do that, I'd like to address the elephant in the room, that is the NExT exam and the entire pattern around the NExT exam that you all would like to know. So I would request ma'am to, please let us know that when we talk about the NExT and the new exam pattern that is on the line, what do you think about it and how can students approach it?
Yeah, so NExT exam, as you all know, is going to happen in 2 steps. All of you must be aware of that. Then the first step is your theory exam, which is going to be MCQ based, right? And it is covering all the clinical subjects. Here, the major subjects being your surgery, medicine, obs, gynae, with all the 120 questions. And of course, ENT and ophthalmology, pediatrics will be 60 questions. So total, there are 6 papers, right? And all based on this, you're going to pass your MBBS, and also you're going to get a seat in your PG based on your MCQ performance in this exam. And once you're doing good in this and after internship, you're going to go for the next step, that is your practicals, right? So this is the basics of the NExT. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Dr. Vyshnavi, ma'am, could you please, highlight this particular thing that, according to the new pattern, there could be 2 exams in one day. So will it create a pressure on aspirants with respect to that?
I think there is always pros and cons for every situation. Now, if you have NEET PG examination, it's a single examination, single day, but it's too much of pressure for one day. I think students will have the redemption power now that if even one examination is not going well, they do have an opportunity for coping up or making up for those marks in the next days or the next session. So it's not going to be a judgment day on one single day how you perform, because obviously everyone is not going to have a lucky day or the best day of their lifetime on that particular day of examination. Having divided it into 3 specific days would give a leverage for all students that if they haven't done something really well, they can catch up and they can probably improvise their scores. And second thing I would feel is, yes, it's going to be stressful, but as we know, medicine profession per se is very stressful. And if you go to your post-graduation, you will have to take more stress than what we're taking up for the current examination, also with the duties and all those things. So I think somewhere we are going to be prepared for what is ahead for us in the future by this examination. So change is the only constant, and we need to change ourselves and modify ourselves to the available system that we have today.
Right. Absolutely, ma'am. I think that, as you rightly said, whenever the circumstances will arrive, you will be modified accordingly and you will be made strong according to the circumstances. So, ma'am, Neha, ma'am, I would like to request you with you, something more if you would like to talk about NExT. And how do you feel being a part of Prepladder Dream Team and now its new mission to be the NExT ready?
Yeah, so as ma'am has also, rightly put that we need to gear up for the change. And with the renowned platform that we have and the wonderful educators out here, I'm sure, each one is going to put up their entire effort to make this journey easy for you. And like we all say, Rome was not built in a day. So now with the NExT pattern coming up, we need a conceptual and in-depth understanding of all the 19 subjects. We cannot just rely on one subject to actually, which will help you to get a score. So you need a strong basics. So right from your basic sciences, you need to gear up and study in an integrated manner, which will help you, I'm sure, clear this journey with very good marks and with a good score that you want. And also when it comes to Prepladder, like I said, originally Prepladder is one of the most renowned platforms. And at Prepladder also, we have all geared up. Our question bank, everything would be modified, is being updated according to the present draft that has come out, and we are all ready to face this new situation. It definitely puts panic and stress and confusion in the mind of students as well as to some extent the teachers, but I'm sure with the wonderful team that we have here, we will be able to give you a true picture and help you ride this journey very smoothly.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Definitely, we all are, ready to believe in this and give our everything to it. Dr. Vyshnavi, ma'am, if you could also, let us know that how do you feel to be a part of Dream Team and what are the future plans as well?
So Dream Team had been my dream also. So when Prepladder got launched initially, I also was aspiring to be a part of this team, and it's like my dream come true having joined this platform. So I'm thoroughly obliged for having joined this, and somewhere my dream also has come true. And so I would always wish my learners' dreams also come true. And if I can be a part of their journey and take them ahead in their dreams, I think that's the best gift that I can give to anybody and to myself. Because the greatest reward as a doctor is treating your patients and seeing them recover and seeing your students grow to greater heights than what you are today. So this is what I aspire and what I want my students to do. And on Prepladder Dream Team or the next edition that we are coming up with, we have made sure that our QBank is an updated and a very nice version, and it is aligned for NExT, because we already had sorts of information coming in prior, that the NExT examination is going to happen sometime soon. So our content content team was very, very, thoroughly after it and worked a lot on it to get the content right. They have worked a lot with the educators and the subject matter experts to get out the clinical questions. And we know that the next pattern is going to have 65% clinical questions, about 25% comprehension based questions, and 10% fact based or recall based questions. So having this sort of an examination puts the student, a little bit at fear, because they feel that we have not attended the clinical rounds, we have not attended much of our internship posting. How do we get to these clinical questions correctly during the examination? So this is what we are targeting at Prepladder, in the recordings as well as in our QBank, to make sure that this clinical vignettes, this comprehension and how to approach the question clearly and correctly in the examination is what we are going to deliver to our students during our sessions.
That's amazing, ma'am. Literally something which, everyone should look forward to. So like Dr. Ruchi, ma'am, you mentioned that, you will be like to do the second part of your innings on this platform as well. So with respect to that, how we have, the second innings, we can also say QBank. QBank is something which is very important with respect to the second innings after the video lectures. So could you please share some highlights of QBank 4.0 and how is it different and what are your thoughts on this?
Yes. So one very, very important thing about the major change in the exam, when you talk about NExT, what flashes in our mind? Tell me, all of you. It is the clinical questions. We are talking about cases, case presentations. We are talking about clinical vignettes, right? So definitely here at Prepladder, we have not only added new questions, but we have made sure that they are all major part of it is clinical vignettes. And then we have this improved active guidance. Now, what is this improved active guidance as such? Is so whenever you are reading any question, if it's in a form of paragraph, it's always a challenge because it is going to take time when you're giving exams to even read that question, isn't it? So you all need to know some key points in any clinical presentation, which will help you in the diagnosis and answer, right? So this is going to be very, very easy on this platform with this application of improved guidance, active guidance, where the main highlights of the question are given, right? And then there is another thing that is implemented custom module. Now, what is implemented custom module altogether? You are listening to a lecture, you're listening to a video lecture, you want to solve the questions related to it. You don't want to start from the beginning, which becomes absolutely very, very user-friendly, and you're going to be very comfortable going through it through this module that is implemented custom module. So when I look at these provisions that are given to you all to study, I feel like studying again. I feel like, yeah, if why was all these facilities not when I was a student, it would have been more fun to study. So you people are lucky ones, right? Yeah. Yeah,
right, definitely. Thank you so much for giving the walkthrough to the QBank. Dr. Vyshnavi ma'am, if you would like to, tell about some of the more features with respect to QBank and how, one can use it to get a good score.
Yeah, so the QBank not just has the PYQs, because obviously PYQs are a must to do things before you go for your examination. So PYQs are definitely put into it. We have also put a lot of image-based questions, because obviously when we talk of clinical vignettes or clinical-based questions, clinical signs are something that you will have to look for. Radiological signs or clinical signs or surgical images that can be given in your examination. And that is something, a little bit that could be a tricky thing for you in your exam, because you probably wouldn't have seen it. And if it appears to you in the exam, you might panic at that moment. So to practice all of that, we have made a separate image-based QBank, so that if a student wants to learn only image-based question from ENT, he will get everything of ENT image-based question in one go. He doesn't have to go chapter-wise, see which image is there in this chapter, another chapter, and go to the image of that chapter. No, everything is aligned, that all the images of ENT are there in one go. He can revise, the student can revise all the images just before the examination. So image-based questions are a separate category. And we have also included, integrated concepts, like very correctly Neha ma'am said that, we have to, although they are clinical subjects that are going to be assessed in the examination, but that doesn't mean that your pre and paraclinical subjects need to be ignored. No, absolutely not. You have to integrate them. They can ask you a question, say the patient had a parotid swelling, and they can give you a pleomorphic adenoma histopathological examination, or they can give you a question of what is the screening test for infant, and they can ask you a national health program for screening of neonates and children. So they can ask, integration of different subjects together in a clinical subject. So to get that integration right and to get a practice, because nothing comes without practice, and to get the practice right, we have made an integrated module also. So the student can practice the integrated module, can practice the image based question, can practice the PYQ. He already also has a custom module. So everything or every part of the examination that the student has to prepare is being taken care of. And like Ruchi ma'am said, honestly, I also feel like going back and preparing for my examination, but the only fear is I don't want my results. I just want to prepare and just sit back and enjoy it.
Right. Thank you so much, ma'am. I think this was a very beautiful point as well. Ki the journey is very important, irrespective of the destination. So with regard to that, Neha ma'am, I would like to request, if you can also put some emphasis on QBank, as well as how next edition QBank, which is a bit different from the 4.0 edition of QBank, and how it will make the journey of the students more, real, stimulating to the examination.
Okay, so with the NExT coming up, we have also modified our question bank 4.0. So, we can just tell that it is all-in-one learning and practice place comprising of all the clinical cases, comprehension, and problem solving. So the latest QBank that you're going to get to see is going to have a lot of images, more conceptual MCQs, more presenting in an integrated manner. And the best part is that with the explanations, you will be able to rule out, the options, why this is not the answer, that would also be included, why this is the answer, that would also be included. So like with each question, it will provide you a summary of the topic also. So it would become like a take-home message also, that this is what you have to concentrate. Because, whatever pattern of exam it is, at the end of the day, you have to solve MCQs and you have to master the art of ruling out options. And that is what we're going to present very beautifully through our updated QBank. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. I think that's a really something which everyone should focus sincerely and try to solve it as much as they can. So with respect to this, Dr. Ruchi ma'am, I would like to, ask you something regarding the next edition of the QBank and something which makes it different from the previous edition, and how, students can summarize it.
Yeah. So, very important thing is that when we are actually solving a question, it is not only about the right question. It is very, very important to have a knowledge of each and every alternative in that question. Right? It is, you may be able to mark that question correct, but if you're not really aware of the different alternatives that are given, the options given, and then why this is wrong and why this is right, how can you have an integrated knowledge, and how can you really approach it that way? Isn't it? So if you are studying from the beginning with us through concept as the priority conceptually in an integrated manner, right? And just as Dr. Vyshnavi and Dr. Neha were also mentioning, the integrated manner is very important. You are going to very beautifully solve why this is wrong. So this is going to be a very big assistance to you in this edition, right? And also after the end of every question, it summarizes the what knowledge you got from that very question. So again, very, very user-friendly and very comfortable to really prepare for the PG entrance or any entrance exams.
Right. Definitely, ma'am. So I think students, you all must now be well versed with the QBank 4.0 as well as the next edition. So I know you must all be looking forward to, solving some questions right away. So after the session, as soon as the session ends, you can get a 10 days free trial for the QBank. There's a link in the live chat as well as in the description. You can just go through that link, register yourself, and get a free 10 days trial, and let's try to solve as many as questions you can. So now we have processed a lot of information right from NExT to something about the faculty's methodologies. So I think you all must be well aware ki ek fun rapid fire round ho jaye, so that you can connect more with faculties with respect to their personal life as well, and how they balance out everything. So I think we would like to start with Dr. Ruchi ma'am as well. Ma'am, here are some fun questions that you can answer in one word if you wish to. So the first question is one topic that you really like teaching in your subject and you find it the best topic. Sorry, ma'am, voice.
I think it was a one-word answer.
Okay, yeah, it was squint.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. So the next question to you only: what do you do when you wish to take a break from work?
Okay, so I think I'm busy at home, to be very, very honest to you all. Very
Right.
busy at home. Yeah.
Right. Home time is the best time, definitely. Ma'am, now to Dr. Vaishnavi, ma'am, that, as a student, were you someone who would like to make just strategy? Suppose now NEET is 50 days ahead, so make some strategy, or just go with the flow and see what happens?
I was never like that. I only went with the flow. Even if I make strategies, I was never able to follow them. So I always went on doing whatever I could at that point of time. So I'm not a strategy based person.
Right. So I think this is also a very important lesson that whichever zone you belongs, you should be happy with that and be what you are rather than just, coming in the FOMO. Ma'am, one most important feature of Prepladder according to you that can help students, if only one you have to choose.
QBank.
QBank. Thank you so much. Now coming to Dr. Neha, ma'am. Ma'am, your favorite vacation place?
My favorite vacation place, I like to go to places that have beaches. So, of course, I always make it a point to visit Goa once in a year with my family.
Right,
Yeah,
amazing. So, ma'am, you are a beach person rather than a mountain person. You
yeah,
can also, guys, you
absolutely.
can also comment below whatever, which kind of person you are. Ma'am, favorite book, when you were MBBS student, which book you loved studying, and even now, if you want, you can study it.
So when I was MBBS students, there were times when I would be a little low in confidence. So there was this book, Believe in Yourself by Swami Vivekanand. He had my parents had actually given me that book. So once or the other time, I used to just go through that book. So books which are more, focus driven, I would prefer those books. Even today, I prefer such books. It keeps you on track, basically.
Right.
Sorry
I
to
think
interrupt, Akshat, but I feel, Neha, I'm really surprised you could get time to read books during MBBS.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah,
Good.
that's amazing, ma'am. And now you are helping students to simplify K Park, which itself is a very hectic book. So it's really great
exactly.
for all as well. So I think this was once a very great session that we discussed entirely all about that you need to know as a third year MBBS student. So, ma'am, Dr. Neha, ma'am, I would like to ask an closing message for all the viewers that are watching and whatever you want to convey to them.
Okay, thank you for this question, actually. So I would just, want to say one thing that whenever something new happens, whenever changes happen in our life, we tend to take a little pushback. We tend to get distracted by it. We tend to somewhere lose our confidence. A lot of anxiety, a lot of panic. There's so much of pressure that you might feel yourself into at this particular point of time. But the only thing that I would like to say, being a student once, I'm also a student today, but all of us have been through that stages, and we have to be ready for the change. We cannot, not let any change happen. So we have to be prepared. So when you're studying, put in your full dedication, devotion, determination. How the paper will be, we over here will try to present that to you in a simplified manner, but you do not have to lose hope and just keep studying, just keep revising, be consistent and be disciplined. I think that will get you through this phase. And remember, this is just a phase of life. It's not going to be permanent. It's not going to be the same. You're going to come out of it. So emerge as a warrior, give it your best, and I'm sure all of you will do great. And don't be too harsh on yourself. Yes, that's what I would like to say.
That's amazing, ma'am. I think students learned a lot from your piece of advice as well. That obviously it's very important to be a little bit soft on yourself as well and
Yes.
supporting yourself in the entire journey. Dr. Vaishnavi, ma'am, some words of inspiration for the students.
Yeah, so I think Dr. Neha ma'am very nicely concised my feelings as well. And I just have one thing to tell that, keep dreaming, keep dreaming always, because some or the other day your dreams will come true. And I myself have experienced many a times, because if I have to just tell my background in a word, I come from a very, very small house, a small city, but to have reached where I reached today, I think it's all dreams. Without dreams, you will not work. And I think that is the first step to go. But I won't say that just keep sleeping and dreaming, but dream and work hard. So I think you should have what you want in your life, at least that clarity you should have, and just keep working towards it. Question paper, exam pattern are all just, a part of the journey. It's not going to determine your preparation. Preparation will more or less be the same. It's the practice that you have to change a little bit. But other than that, there is not going to be any major change per se that, people will fear there is next exam. How will we attempt? What will we do? Change in pattern, change in this. Nothing of that sort you should fear at this moment of time, because preparation is something that you have to do now. Exam is going to come. You will attend the exam. It will get over also, and then you will realize it was not as much as fearful as we thought. So I think leave that fear of examination and just focus on today, that now it's the time to do my best today, and this hour is my time to do the best. I will not let this time run away, and this is my agenda. This, if you're clear in your head, I think you'll be able to conquer any examination, whether it is NExT or any other examination that comes ahead for you.
Right. I think that was really some powerful words, that first of all, you should dream it, then keep acting on it until you can achieve it. So thank you so much, ma'am, for your words of wisdom. So now, Dr. Ruchi, ma'am, I would like to request something from your end as well.
Yes. So this is the part of the conversation which I really love, because I really love to inspire my students. So first of all, I would very strongly tell you something. Please run your own race. Right? Where we slow down is we start comparing a lot. So though it is good to be in a flow, but you have to strategize and plan and make your schedules in the most smartest way that will suit your way of preparation. And you are unique. Nobody is like you, so don't compare. That is one place where we all really suffer. Okay. Secondly, so this is the line, I think every student has this line of mine in their copy, whoever has attended my classes. And I would like you all to really note it down and think about it, ponder about it. So the line says, I will never disrespect myself by ever giving up. So we all have the same potential. We all can manifest the same potential. Just be sincere towards yourself and work hard. And of course, lastly, no complaints. You are going to be the happiest students if you have a lot of appreciation, gratitude, work hard, be positive, and keep smiling. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I think that was really something which every one of us wanted. So, dear learners, I hope that you enjoyed this session thoroughly, and now you are also excited for the other part of the dream team and who will be there on the board. So basically, we will, catch you again on 12th of January with second Prof Dream Team next edition ready. And I think that, we'll again have a guessing session in the live session as well. And you will have a great time enjoying that as well. So let's meet you on 12th January. And we thank you all the educators for sharing their valuable time with the learners. And we really look forward to the lectures. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much
Thank you.
for having
Thank
us.
you.
Prepladder at its core believes that being a doctor should be an amazing thing, and nobody should regret their choice to study medicine.
I want to introduce to you Prepladder QBank 2.0, QBank 3.0, MCQ Marathon 2021 Dream Pack.
I'm here principally because the NExT exam regulation guideline draft was released yesterday.
The notification for National Exit Test Regulations 2022 has come 2 days before the new year.
Do what is in your control, and in your control is your studies.